Right back at it one more time with another awesome video. This time we're talking Thunderbolts. Handcuffs off. It's time to get into this review of this movie. And here's my crew for tonight. I hope y'all guys are ready. It's always about to go down. Spider Kev.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. I haven't had this much fun talking about a movie since Guardians 3. So let's go. Let's get into it.
And in the left corner, George.
Hey, what's up, guys? Let's get dive into this Thunderbolts movie.
I think I used to call him Mike Murdoch, but this time he's just not 1 cent boat. Mikey Mike, what's happening?
Hello there. Yeah, Marvel's pulling at some strings and getting them therapy bills going. This was a good one.
And last but not least, all the way from Pendle, PA, from Baby Gorilla Comics, Jose.
It was so sad. Let's break it down.
Let's get into it. That's your crew. Oh my God! How about leave Frank? And lastly, and not least, Frankie Baby.
What's up, Larry Baby? I guess I'm a part of the show.
You should change your name to Ghost because he couldn't see you.
As Mike wearing the Ghostbusters shirt.
Cena.
You know, I think my problem is I'm just Frank. Kind of like Bob.
Frankie Baby. That's what you are, Frankie Baby.
I don't remember how I got here.
Here's your crew, your whole entire crew for this whole entire review. So it's time, guys. We've been like biting our tongues this whole entire week. We've seen this movie on Thursday.
First.
Is that a pause moment? That was
Now we can talk spoilers.
Okay, making sure it wasn't a pause moment though. Okay, we're good. Okay,
we good.
Okay, very good. So, like I said, we've been holding our peace since Thursday. We literally had.
Yeah.
Okay, not that type of peace. I'm talking about the peace.
See here, we all had to think about it first. So it was
I caught it.
Pause.
I caught it. He was slacking on that one.
Jeez, okay. I thought I was getting out. Okay, anyway, we had this movie that we saw on Thursday. Then we had to prepare ourselves for Saturday for Free Comic Book Day over at Baby Gorilla Comics, where we interviewed not one, not two, but three amazing artists. Oh my goodness! Wait till y'all guys see those interviews, and then after that is now. So we've been waiting for a long time to go ahead and go over this. Now it's time for us to go over it for real. So one by one, before we officially get deeper into it, I just need y'all guys' ratings of the movie. 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Kev, you start, and then we go on a nice little circle. Then George, then Mike, then Jose, then Frank. Yo.
I've been thinking about it. I'm gonna keep it a solid 8 out of 10.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go along with Kevin. I'm gonna give it an 8 too.
Wow. Okay. Mike?
I give it a 7.5.
7.5. Jose?
I think I'm gonna have to go with an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm at an 8.
Frank?
Lucky number 8 it is. I really was trying hard to think of a reason to give it a 9. But I'm trying to think of a reason to upgrade it. And there's no reason to downgrade it. There's absolutely no reason to down.
Okay. Just so you guys know, I started off this morning thinking it was a solid 6. And now I'm hovering around 7. So if I was to give an answer right now, I would say it's a 7.
Fair.
It's definitely better than Brave New World. 100%.
I will say this much though. If you see it a second time, it's so much better. Like I saw it for the second time today. I took my sister to see it, and yeah, it's so much better the time around. You just catch so much more details because the first day you see it, you're excited. You tend to lose details and you forget things. So I had to go see it again because I enjoyed it that much.
Principal reason why I will hunt down some spoilers, because usually when people spoil things, they're not spoiling the details, they're spoiling the big events, which you could probably figure out anyways.
Exactly.
Oh shoot, Marvel's spoiling the big flipping spoiler. Did you see like
New Avengers?
they changed like everything. It's now like asterisk New Avengers.
Yeah, and that was like Friday.
Yeah.
They didn't even wait the weekend.
Dude, I saw like Sebastian Stan like rolling up posters. Like,
yeah. When you still go buy a ticket, it still says Thunderbird. So when you go to Fandango or AMC, it still says Thunderbolts, not New Avengers.
Thank God. Like they really like you said, really threw in the towel on that one. Like, please, this movie needs to save us. But we get into it. We get into it. Jose, I know you have a list, and I know you checked it twice. I need to make sure that it's naughty and nice. Please tell us where we need to go firstly when it comes to this review.
I mean, if we're starting from the very beginning, and I know we're not talking, the whole premises of this movie is self-awareness. The message that was given during this movie was depression, isolation, being alone, feeling like you don't equate to much, feeling like you're never enough. So it deals with a lot of the topics with mental health. And you see that right from the beginning, because we know the big villain of the story is the Void. It's not Sentry. It's really the Void part of Sentry. And from the very beginning, you know, you see Yelena, and she jumps off this building, and she parachutes onto another building. When she's fighting and she's delivering her monologue, everything is black. She's fighting in the dark. All you see is the shadows and the silhouettes of other people, which is a prelude to the Void and what he does in the darkness. You know?
That's great.
Yeah, so like from that point on, like first thing she does is, you know, in the beginning, she's in their facility, in Val's facility, where they are, you know, making this Sentry, this new super soldier that is way more powerful than any super soldier ever. And you know, she whips a little butt. And the funniest, like, there's things you don't catch or you don't pay too much attention to the first time you saw it. And like in the beginning, they show like they're in that facility and you see the black shadows, and you're like, what the heck is the black shadows? Like, what are they? Especially people that don't know who the Void is. Like, you know, it just like, did somebody spray paint a black shadow on there? You know, obviously everything with Marvel has some meaning, and then we find out later that it's because of the darkness that's in the Void. And you know, she's working for Val, and she, you know, steals the guinea pig, blows up the building, which was hilarious. And she calls Val, and it goes right to her talking to Val and saying she's done, the job is complete. And then she shows up at Red Guardian's house. Or no, I'm lying. I'm sorry. Skipped the whole. Skipped the. She didn't, but she did. She does eventually go to her dad's house, and there's a whole scene in that. Do you guys remember what happened when she went to visit? We skipped a part, but we'll get back to it to stay on Yelena. I know it's been
when she goes to visit Red Guardian.
Yes.
Yeah, she visits there. She shows up unannounced, and he's living the best life he can. I wouldn't say it's his best life, but it's the best life he can.
He's living the best.
He's definitely got the bachelor thing going on, and she knocks on the door, and he quickly brushes his teeth with dish soap. I think it was. She starts like rooting things around, and like he's like, "Hello," and just brings her in, and you know, tries to fix the damage that's been done between them, the distance. As you know, any dad's going to be happy to see his daughter, especially, you know, she says like it's been a year since like we've seen each other, and he tries to put on the happiest face he can.
You gotta remember, like, we haven't seen Red Guardian since Black Widow, and that was 2020, 2019, 2020.
But
And,
even with that whole thing, it's not. It's more, that whole scene was more about Yelena not feeling fulfilled and feeling empty. And she asks him, "Oh, do you feel fulfilled? How can I not fulfill? I have a limousine service. I provide great service. I meet big clients. I'm on missions. I'm doing this." And then she says, "I don't feel fulfilled. Like, I'm lonely. I miss my sister," and stuff like that. And then she goes, "I think I'm going to quit the Thunderbolts, or I'm going to quit Yelena's team." And he's like, "I would die I want to work for her so bad," you know? And he just completely dismisses what she's saying. But then they have a heart-to-heart moment where he actually tells her, he goes, "You know, you're better than that." You know, like, he just wants fame and he wants to be admired. And he remembers his fulfillment, the best time of his life was when he was the Red Guardian in Russia. And he was being cheered as a hero and people were applauding him and everything like that. So that's what he wants: fame, fortune, and to be admired, where Yelena just wants to be loved.
What you got there?
There. First off, is everybody safe and okay?
Oh, that's just a fire truck just went by.
I just
Yeah,
gotta make
that's what I'm
sure.
saying.
You know, it's like, make sure that everybody all right. No, get the babies and the wives. Make sure everybody's all right. All right. Okay. So, the key to what they showed every single individual is that they are all trying to fill a void in their lives. Every single one of them. Yelena doesn't feel fulfilled. She's trying to fill a void. Red Guardian don't feel like he's important anymore. He needs to try to fill his void. And then we go into the other characters later on and we see how they all are missing something. They all are trying to gain something because they're missing it in their lives. And it just kind of goes to show that, once again, going by what you said, Jose, the importance of mental health and stuff like that. That's the underlying theory of this whole entire movie that was definitely there and put to the surface if you paid attention to it.
Now, one thing that literally just came to my head, and while you were speaking, was that Val used all their mental health issues and weaknesses to manipulate them into becoming the Thunderbolts. Mm-hmm. She used all their depression, their anxiety, all their weaknesses against them to make them feel important, to make them feel like they were valuable. But that leads us right into where they're going to Oxford, the main place where we meet Bob.
Bob.
That is a brand new company. It was confirmed because obviously Sony has the rights to Marvel. It was supposed to be Oscorp, but
was it really?
I could have swore I heard them say Oscorp, and I was like, I looked at Kev. I'm like, "Yo, did they say Oscorp?" He's like, "I don't think so." I'm like,
I said the same thing, bro.
Yeah, I thought they said Oscorp, and it's Oxcorp.
No.
Yeah, Ox. But they said it so fast again. They said Oscorp.
Yeah, like, they did that because Oscorp technically,
Yeah.
Sony.
Bro, you know,
dude, that's like straight up Temu Oscorp.
Yeah, but you know what I realized? That Val set them up. We know that. Mm-hmm. But did you pay attention to how she set them up? She sent Ghost, Taskmaster, U.S. Agent, and Yelena to get Bob, right? She got Taskmaster.
No, it was not to get Bob. It was just something to kill them.
He's an accident.
Yeah, Bob was in there.
Yes. Bob wasn't supposed to be there. Exactly. You're right. Correct.
Each of them are set to kill another one of them.
Right. Taskmaster was sent to kill Walker. Ghost was sent to kill Taskmaster. Yelena was sent to kill Ghost. So each one of them was set to kill each other, and then they were going to implode the building. Those fight scenes were badass.
They were cool, though.
Mm-hmm. Those fight scenes between
whoever survived was not going to survive.
No.
It was totally set up to get rid of all the evidence.
Dude,
Val definitely set it up to like the CYA. Like, she's definitely covering her ass. Like, because there's the whole Senate thing where they're trying to impeach her, and she has all of her stuff scrubbed, and this is like the last of the assets, and they get sent there to basically all get incinerated, because Val's not a nice person. And we see them all in there, and yeah, they start to like slowly piece it together. Obviously, like Walker is he's a little slow and definitely full of himself. Like, no, she sent me here like to take care of everything. Like, he's definitely bullheaded, and Yelena like really starts to put it together. And can we talk about like for a quick second how like Taskmaster came in and was like fighting with the shield, and like how awesome that was, like that whole like knife thing. That was super dope. I thought.
How about Yelena throwing the knife and Ghost phasing through and catching it?
Right? Like, how long has it been since we saw like a really cool, creative Marvel team up battle? Like, I feel like it's been, probably, if not like, it's been a minute. Like, Marvel used to be so good and like known for doing this, like the stuff they did in Avengers and like Civil War and stuff, and like, it just felt like old hat for them to do that, and it felt really cool. Definitely felt like a callback.
How fast they killed Taskmaster, though. Jesus Christ.
Right?
They didn't give it no screen time.
I was thinking about that though.
The original plot was she was going to survive, but the whole point was she was going to have memory loss and keep attacking John through the whole movie, like how King Shark was trying to eat all the teammates in Suicide Squad. That was the original plan. But I guess they all went, we messed up this one. Let's just kill her.
Things change. Yeah, like that's in all honesty, as like a somewhat like of a Taskmaster fan, I had like the first appearance, it was like Avengers 181 or something like that. And Taskmaster is like a badass character, and like they never quite cracked the code. Like he talks smack, like it's a girl in the movie, but like he talks smack like almost as much as like Spider-Man. And he's like
more of like a Deadpool character.
Exactly. Spot on. And then in the like early 2000s, somewhere around like 2005, they gave him a really cool costume change. It was by a anime artist named Udon, and that's where we get like the costume she was kind of wearing in this movie. And they like
definitely badass. Like the costumes, everything was so spot on. Like they all looked fantastic. They all played their part, and it looked really good, especially like after the fight scene when you got this blonde hair dude, or not brown hair. He was a brunette first. He just walks out and like, how the hell did you get here? What's your name? I'm Bob. That's all we know.
I mean, for that actor,
he's Bob.
It's kind of sad because his last big role was Bob in Top Gun.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. Maybe he's got like Tony Danza syndrome.
What's your call sign? Bob.
Just Bob.
No, your call name. Bob. And they actually put Bob on his helmet.
Yeah.
But then that place starts to seal off. Mel tells Val, we have a problem. They've escaped. She says, well, no, she tried to light them up first. And you see all the doors seal. You see Ghost running to try to get out, and then she hit him with like that shockwave thing that they did with the Incredible Hulk to disrupt her phasing. And they had to get together and work together to try to get the hell out of there.
I like the fact that they kind of like weighed on the fact that, all right, they're a bad guy. We just allowed her to escape. Will she actually come back and save us? And it's like, but she's a bad guy. She came here to kill somebody. Will she actually come back and save us? 5 seconds left. Oh God, I guess we're dead. She came back.
Like Yolena's like, she accepts it too. Like she's in such a low spot, like mentally. She's just like, and like this is how it ends. And then the door's open.
Yeah, and she has that whole thing with Bob where she's like, "You can trust me," and then she goes, "No, you can't. No, not really. You can't." But when they're trying to escape, and then Yelena's so funny because there's the one part where they're trying to escape, and Bob Sentry starts to laugh at Walker, And he goes, "Why are you laughing?" He goes, "Because you're supposed to be Captain America." And he goes, "You're such an asshole." And Walker just grips him up. Like how he gripped. I mean, I guess Bob didn't know his strength then. He just grips him up and pushes him against the wall. And Yelena comes. Are you guys done slinging your little dicks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
you forgot the one part. John Walker says on your left.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. He does
I
when they
didn't
find the
catch
control
that.
panel,
On your
dude. My skin
did.
crawled.
When
Yeah,
they were trying
right.
to escape, they
Yeah.
looked at the panel to show off the machine. Walker
I
goes,
was a
"On your
little
left."
annoyed that
I was like,
they
no.
gave him the line.
No.
Mhm.
My
Yeah,
skin
that
crawled. I
was-
was like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, you don't deserve that line, buddy. You're not the real Cap.
That made them
Um,
all icky, which is great, except for Yelena. She's just amazing.
Yo, I'm surprised. Like Yelena, like carried this movie. I was a
It was a
little.
Black Widow. It was a Black Widow 2 movie.
Mhm. Like,
I think that's one of my problems. This is Black Widow 2.
all right,
It's
but yeah, it's like better than Black
this was a
Widow.
lot better than Black Widow.
I
A
agree.
whole lot better.
I agree.
But
But it felt like Black
She's
Widow.
trying to find herself like Black Widow was trying to find herself in the theater.
Mhm.
In that movie, I get that completely.
Uh-huh.
But then what happens next after they're trying to escape out of there? They finally escape, and then they're in the truck. Ghost gets the truck. They're trying to escape, and she fades out, and all you hear, he's like, "No, I'm a U.S. agent." Tells the guy, the military guy, who I thought was Isaac from The Last of Us for a second.
Yeah, right.
He tells him, "No, I'm not." And then all of a sudden, you hear the gunshot, and Bob just sacrifices himself basically. And dude, they laid thousands upon thousands of rounds in that boy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
of course,
they
they
tear
had
him up.
Of course, they had to show his six pack show off.
But like, knowing like what happens by the end of the movie too, like how much courage did it take him to do that? Because let's skip ahead a minute, but like he's like, anytime like I try to do something, I make it worse, and like he stepped up and tried to do that.
Yeah.
So it was like a big step up for him.
Yeah, but we're also
I think he wants to be a hero, though. That's why he joined that program, because he wants to be a hero. He's always been. He says, like in later on in the movie, when they're in that dream sequence in the void, and he was a chicken. He goes, "Oh, this is when I was on meth."
Exactly. What you got, Kev?
No, I was just gonna say we completely just skipped a whole big scene too.
Oh, what we
We're
skip?
all over the place. Bring us back, brother.
Bucky.
No, we weren't there
Oh
yet.
yeah,
No, that happens
right
before,
around the same time.
That
Yeah.
happens before they leave. They escape.
Which
The
part? Where
whole-
he has his hand in the dishwasher and Mel calls him?
That and the party and the court scene.
Yeah.
We skipped that entire thing.
The court scene? Oh, when Val was on trial.
The whole
Yeah,
Him
where
and-
Val was
him
trying
and
to not
Tenet.
get impeached.
Well, we're not trying to
Yeah.
go through every single scene. Are we, guys? I mean,
But we can talk. That Bucky scene was like
You're right.
pretty important, though. Like when he's,
you're
it shows a lot about him because he is trying to be. He's a senator. What is he?
Yeah, he was a senator for half a term, as Val tells him. She goes, "I didn't think you were gonna make anything but half a term. You didn't even do half a full term."
Mhm.
But Bucky's he's there because he knows what's going on, and he's trying, along with the other senator. I can't remember his name, but he's a very well-known actor. They're trying to stop what she's doing, and the Century Project, basically, and the Super Soldier.
Yeah, they
I'm
show
all-
Bucky trying to step up, and then he doesn't like what Val's doing. That's for sure. And then I forget exactly who's he run into at the party.
Yeah, the assistant
Mel.
Oh,
Mel, Val's assistant.
yeah.
who's gonna be Songbird.
Yeah, and he's trying to get her to basically snitch out Val and tell the secret so they can impeach
Mhm.
her. Because the whole thing is basically to get her out of power because she's too powerful and she's creating all these other super soldiers, and she's trying to basically take over the world, or at least the United States, by creating her own Avengers team with a Z. That's later on, but what?
Yeah, Bucky gives him her phone, or no, he gives her his phone number, and then is it the dishwasher scene where she calls finally, or is that later on, Kev?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
later
Okay.
on.
No, that's before they escape, because in the next scene it goes to the daytime, and but also too, Red Guardian finds out what Val's plan was because he was their limo driver.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
true.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's a
He
lot
definitely
of
does.
heat spinning.
Which I thought was kind of funny. Is like, you got this woman that's all powerful. People that you got the senators trying to impeach, and somehow or another he finds a way to be the driver for her.
Right.
Well,
To
it's
hear
not
all
even
that.
that, but he was talking to Yelena and saying, "I want to work for, I want to work for her. Can you get me in?" And then all of a sudden, he winds up driving for her. So it's like, did Yelena set that up? Did he just happen to be lucky one day and it happened to work out? So never really got that story.
I really thought it was going to be Bucky, the one driving, but all you
Yes.
see is Red Guardian's face, just like the stupid face he made.
well, it couldn't be Bucky because Bucky was at that party.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you never
he
know,
was-
man.
he's
He was a
cool now.
spy. He was
cool
a
now.
spy, Frank. God, what a
Yeah,
So-
but now he
yeah,
has to
the
actually
Marvel
have
Oh,
all
movie
his
Frank,
aides.
come on! Stop going for the apple just coming off the tree.
Guess who's back?
Sorry about that.
Jose
Wi-Fi back. Wi-Fi back.
Pretty much. And we just lost Mike. We're having technical difficulties, people. Sorry about this. There it goes, Mike.
Arnar.
All right, so let's get back on track. Where the hell were we?
Red
I
Guardian
think
I think the wheels fell
driving.
for a little bit.
We went over pretty much almost everything. Now we got you got the
Bucky.
Thunderbolts that now ran off. You got the Thunderbolts and now inside the truck after Captain Dummy went ahead and no, I gotta show who I am, and everything, and then Bob sacrificed himself and they finally drive off.
John, the crazy part about that character, about John, he's like, take off your mask. No.
No.
Take off your mask.
I think
No.
the other crazy part with that scene is Val. I don't. You really get the sense that she had no clue who Bob is, what Bob is, like what his abilities are, and she is panicking, trying not to have them kill him.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I
She's
think
really
with her,
worried because that's going to be her ticket out of the situation she's in now.
I think what her situation was, from what she was told, everybody that was tested for the Sentry Project died. So she was probably under the impression that there were no surviving members of the Sentry Project, and it was just a busted project. But for him to come out, get lit up, come back, mind you, he comes back and then shoots off into the sky, and it's just like, oh no, this is the one. This is the one that made it. So I think it was a really big surprise for her.
And then drops down like a whole missile.
Bro,
Right.
it was
Like an asteroid.
like an
Dude makes
asteroid.
like
Yeah,
a
he was
crater and a
flying
half.
down.
And she just puts him in a box.
Yep.
Just puts him in a regular box, flies him to Avengers Tower, where we get to learn a lot more about Bob, basically. Like, she has him in Avengers Tower, and she's like, no, I'm good. And he knows about her. He's been mentioned. We did skip, however, the fact that when he touched Yelena, I know we're all over the place, but when he touched Yelena and John.
Oh yeah, John.
Yeah,
Oh my god, yo, John is a slime ball in this movie, dude.
Yes.
That was like out of like
slime
all the
ball.
scenes, I was like, oh, that rubbed me the wrong way when he's sitting there like looking at when he's watching his kid and like all he's doing is like finger effing his phone and like dude, that rubbed me the wrong way so much.
No, you're looking at it wrong though. I mean, I don't mean to say you're looking at it wrong. The way I took it was that this dude was so depressed from not being Captain America. He fell into such a deep depression and he hated life so much that he was just looking for his glory, and he couldn't focus on his son or his wife because he doesn't feel fulfilled. he feels empty. He
Mhm.
never accomplished what he was set out to do. So I think I understand how you say, like, dude, how the hell are you neglecting your kid? But you got to look at it from the perspective of what this movie was trying to deliver, a message about
Yeah,
depression
definitely.
and everything else. So that's the different take on that. And then when
Mhm.
Yelena also was dealing with herself in the void, and her friend Anna, she set her friend up to get killed because that's what she had to do to pass her test for the Red Room. And she lives with that
Mhm.
guilt, and it eats at her every day. And that's what they were trying to emphasize on there, that these people, the void is basically, you live your nightmare on repeat over and
Definitely.
over and over again. Like, think about that. How much would that suck? Think
Oh,
about
dude,
the
it'd be
worst thing
terrible.
that's
And it's
ever happened to you in your life, and you got to relive that 24/7
oh, dude,
on
as a
constant.
guy who's found
Sounds
it
like a
very
joke I
hard to
just
get out
heard
of bed a
recently.
lot of days, and it's 100% how depression sinks in and stuff. It's terrible. I do have a question now. When and not to like skip around, but after Century crashed into the ground and John Walker, our U.S. agent, was taking them through the desert in the dark, and he was like, "Hey, go eat this cactus. It's fine." I was thinking like it was gonna like poison them. I did not trust him. Lo and behold, he definitely came through. So they had a little bit of sustenance in that, and I guess they marched through the desert all night. And correct me if I'm wrong. By the morning, that's when Red
Red
Guardian
Guardian.
comes in,
Yeah.
beeping his horn in the limo and yelling like a crazy man out the window.
But the one thing I will say about that scene where he offers her the fruit, and he
Mhm.
offers Ghost the fruit, that was a peace offering to him, to her. She
Yeah.
smiled, and she looked at him like she took it as a peace offering. And when they get back in, when they get into the limo later, a few minutes later, actually, when Red Guardian finds them, she repays the compliment back to him because Alexei, Red Guardian, says, "Oh, me and what the hell's his name? Me and U.S. Agent, we are the same." And she goes,
Mhm.
Mhm.
"Except he knows what he's doing."
Yep.
And he looks at her and smiles, like he gives her this little smirk. I only caught that because I watched it the second time,
Yeah.
but he gives a smirk, and it's like they're paying each other compliments without being so direct towards it. And then you have them in the genuine limousine, uh, Pony playing the Pony song.
Yep.
Larry, do you remember
Yes.
playing genuine? Okay, but and then they're getting shot at, and then our boy shows up. Our boy Bucky.
You mean Terminator?
That bike scene was
Yes.
fire, by the
The
way.
Terminator.
It was such a good, yeah, it felt very Terminator, but he was just so badass, dude.
How
just
funny is the Red Guardian
just
though?
the scene from John when he shoots the grenade. John's all cheering like, "Yeah, Buck, yeah!" And then once the grenade hits their car, yeah,
Oh.
God.
Very Mission Impossible 2, like
Yeah.
motorcycle
Mhm.
vibes. No, there.
Very like Winter Soldier freeway battle fight. Like there was a couple
Yep.
callbacks throughout this movie that just felt like I don't know, some of like Marvel's best scenes were like remade a little bit in a really good way.
For it.
It was nice seeing him like shoot the same grenade thing under the car.
Mhm.
And like when he did the whole like almost the Dark Knight thing, flipping the did he flip the limo too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was with the grenade. He
That's
flipped
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
the car with his metal arm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what
that
it
was just
yeah.
like from the Captain America movie where he just
Mhm.
stands there and shoots the disc, or when he did it to Fury and
Yeah,
he
that's how he
blew up
got
the
Fury.
truck. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, man, they go there and Bucky has them in a garage, tied up and everything,
As
with
evidence.
bended bars, trying to get, and they're trying to tell him, no, it's dude named Bob, and he doesn't believe them, and they're trying to explain everything. And meanwhile, you got Val at Avengers Tower trying to cozy up to Bob, to Sentry, and try to get him to work for her.
Mhm.
Yeah. and it worked out on both ends. Kinda, not exactly how they all thought, but going by all of that is, as we went along, every single character showed, we all thought, once again, bad guys, they're, asked to do something good, or we see them trying to do something good, and them doing good, we think they're going to do bad because they're bad guys in our eyes, and they're not, and like all of them showed it,
Yeah.
going back to US agent with the fruit, going with Ghost with the door, going with Yelena, going with protecting Bob. They all showed something that's
Something that represents them being heroes.
being heroes, but yet we can't, we don't think that's going to happen, except for Yelena. We all knew that was real, but
They stayed in that scene because they're like, we're gonna go save Bob, and all of them agree we're gonna go save Bob. And then next thing you see is you got your boy Bucky with the Red Guardian and driving the U-Haul truck or whatever truck that was, and he goes, "You got a plan?" He goes, "Plan?" And they just bust right into the front of Avengers building. And she's like, "I was waiting for y'all. Y'all didn't have to do all that."
That was the best part. They was like, "Why are you doing that? Why are you breaking stuff? Like this, the door's unlocked. Just come on."
When Bucky grabbed like the door and like started using it as a shield and like beating people up with the door, I was like, "Oh man, they gave the shield to the wrong person." Like,
yeah. I hope they put the shield on him eventually and make him captain.
That'd be nice.
Personally, but
poor Anthony.
I don't think you're gonna get it.
Then they get on the elevator and they see Bob. And Bob is wearing a nice shiny gold suit and is blonde now.
Mm-hmm.
Dyed his hair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about that fight scene, because there's nothing else really to talk about in that scene except for that fight scene and his powers. So Guardians charges him first. He punches him dead ass in his chest. He flies across the room. He uses
More like out of the entire building.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he brought him back.
Who's
That's
the
right.
one that he flung out the building? Was it Bucky? No, or
It was Red Guardian.
Red
it was
Guardian.
Red Guardian.
I thought he was
And
dead.
Yeah,
I thought that's when he was going to die.
yeah.
When
I'm
he
like,
threw him
that's
out
it.
the window, I was like, "Oh God, they're going to
He's
kill
done
him."
just let him drop it.
Pause.
And then there's no coming back for Bob. But dude, the fight scene, and then like he can create this force field, because you see that first when he protects Val, when Bucky's gonna go grab Val and he can't.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the one thing I took away from all that, honestly, that entire scene, that Sentry's not that powerful. He's not.
I'm mad Frank and Larry literally turned their head at the exact same time, dude. Like it was just syncopated. Like, oh,
Yup. What?
but yeah,
Not that powerful.
explain, bro, because he whooped them and did it with so
Because
much
they're just
ease.
super soldiers.
They're super soldiers. He couldn't whoop Thor like that.
The realest thing they did after that fight scene was run away in that elevator. Because they knew they got their ass kicked and they're totally outmatched.
There was
Think
no.
Thor could still beat him.
I'm gonna prove it to you right now, and I'm gonna prove to you how he is nowhere near as strong as Superman.
Oh, come on! Not even the same universe.
He's
not
not
the same
stronger.
universe.
He's not stronger than Thor. He's not stronger than Hyperion. He's not stronger than Odin. He's not stronger than any of them. You know why? He grabs Bucky's hand that was made by vibranium and couldn't bend it.
Jeez.
He just held it.
No, he
And
tried
he
to
was trying to
tried
bend
to
it.
just a
ignite it.
hole.
He
Maybe
was
he
trying to
didn't want
melt
bend
it.
Yeah, he was trying to break his hand or melt
He
it,
was trying to
and he
melt it
couldn't
and
do
break it off.
anything to it. He couldn't do it. That just shows
And he had
you
a hard
he's not
time
as
bending the
powerful.
shield too.
But it was
Yeah.
cool too because Bucky was using his old moveset from Winter Soldier too.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
And everything. Yeah,
So
look,
dude, I didn't catch that.
look shot by shot of when Steve and Bucky were fighting the Winter Soldier.
Oh, dude, I love
The
that knife fight.
Bucky
Winter
and
Soldier's my
Sentry
favorite Marvel movie.
Or fighting with his knife. It's the exact same movement.
Is it? That's
But
dope.
Sentry's definitely not as strong as they make him look super strong, but he's not.
Yeah,
And
no,
he
there's
is
like
in the comic
not
book.
too many characters in the Marvel universe that like come off like strong like that. But I think you called it
Yeah.
right. Like you put him against Thor, you put him against Hulk. Like you, all right, you put him against like the original like Hulk before like Disney got a hold of him, and he's gonna have a problem.
Hulk would destroy him. But
Mhm.
like, he is strong. Don't get me wrong, but he's not as strong as people think he is. Because if he can't even crush Bucky's arm, Superman would have destroyed that.
But how long into his training is this? This is not long into his training, because you see him at first with Val not able to do anything, and quickly he's in control, not full control, but he's in control of a lot. I mean, I get you on the fact that like he's maybe not as strong as everyone's thinking he is,
Right.
but in this scene, he's stronger than all of the super soldiers
Oh
combined.
yeah.
He's
The Sup-
definitely
Yelena has
throwing
no
powers
powers.
around like there's no problem. Like
Yelena
it's
has no
easy.
powers. Ghost, all she doesn't have strength. She just has she can fluctuate. Bucky's just strong. Red Guardian's just strong. Like nobody there has powers. You know,
so there's
He-
no
he-
real
he-
impact.
He also bent John Walker's shield like a taco.
But yeah, I
he
still think he
struggled
like
with
kind
that.
of struggled with that.
Yeah, I think he struggled with the shield.
But I
But
think
I
that the big
understand
thing,
what
like,
Frank is
even if
saying.
he had like all the training in the world, the dude at his peak, he can't maintain it. Because at his peak,
because he has the
he
void.
switches. Like he needs like Paxil or like Prozac.
Harry, lay into them on this.
Go for it.
The mofo was holding back the whole time. What are y'all talking about? He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight Yelena. He didn't want to fight Ghost. He didn't want to fight them at all. He were friends with them. To the point that
Walker.
even if he hated Walker, he may have felt bad for him because he saw
bent
his
his shield.
void.
Yeah.
So everything he did was just kind of like, okay, let me just get y'all out of the way because y'all can't really do anything with me. So therefore, matter of fact, he was taking punches from Bucky just to take them.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, okay, well, I felt that. Bam,
No.
gone. So
He's
he was literally holding back the whole entire time. With
He
the
eventually
idea-
says as much too.
huh?
He eventually says as much too when she's like, you know, go kill them, go finish them, and he's like,
why?
"Eh, they're not even worth it.
Like,
But
no, I just wiped the floor with him. Why should I even have to kill him? It doesn't make sense.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. Do you think that he could beat the Hawk? Do you
Okay,
think Sentry could beat the Hawk?
right now.
Yes, right
As
now.
Okay, so
Not as Professor Hawk, as the Incredible.
okay, here we go. So I'm going to go by timeline here. The baby Bob that just learned how to use his powers will get his behind whipped possibly by the Incredible Hulk, because the Incredible Hulk has been the Incredible Hulk for a long time.
But he's
But-
always going to be Baby Bob. Like he can't maintain his memory.
That's
Yeah.
the point of his
Why are we
character.
calling him Baby
Yeah.
Bob?
especially now, because in the comics he's
He
supposed
just
to
got his powers.
disappear. The whole point of his powers is once he goes back from not being the Void, he kind of like disappears from everybody. But I guess in this MCU they want to flip that and just say, oh, he can't remember anything.
Yeah.
If he could control, once he can control just Sentry and he has the Void on lockdown, oh, he's gonna be superpower. He's definitely still not the strongest superhero in the Marvel universe, not even close to it. I don't think he breaks the top 5.
You think Adam Warlock could beat him?
Dude, Adam
Not that
Warlock.
Warlock guy.
What did that dude even do?
Bro, he was a baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yes.
was literally a
He
baby.
was literally a baby.
I think like all right, like tinfoil hat time. So if they go by like what happened in like the original Century comic, I believe it's Professor X, not Professor, it's Doctor Strange and Mr. Fantastic that end up wiping the entire Century's memory, and I think they kind of erase him from existence in a lot of ways and get the whole world to forget about him. I think he needs to go talk to Stephen Strange once he gets off his mystic little quest, and maybe he'll be a contender.
He's on his honeymoon with Cleo, brother.
There you go.
He's enjoying the honeymoon. But back to Thunderbolts.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so They
So-
get the floor mopped, and they go outside, and Yelena's like, "Nah, we're done. Like that wasn't even worth it." Which is a nice little scene. It was weird though. Like, I guess New York is so used to seeing costume heroes that they just see them arguing in the streets and they just walk by.
They recorded
I don't
this
know.
during
That
Comic-Con.
one extra was really
That extra was
sounding
extra.
You know what I really like before that scene? Oh no, right after that scene that Yelena has the heart to heart with Red Guardian. She goes, "You disappeared for a year. I feel lonely. I miss my sister. I don't have anything." Not even that part, but I love the part when they go back up to the tower, and it's Sentry with Val, and he goes, "I don't have to take orders from you. You're just a human. You have no power over me. You have no control." And that's the truth. You can't control people like him. You can't. He's a god, pretty much. He's not a god, but his biggest flaw is that he's human. His biggest flaw is that he's human.
And he was saying, "No, you looked at me and you tell me that I'm like a god. You're just you. Like I don't need to listen to you. Like why should I listen to you?"
Yeah, which I want to rewind it a little bit because we glossed over my favorite part of the entire movie, and it's the Yelena and the Red Guardian conversation under that bridge. She storms off. And a movie that was emotional, that was to me the emotional center point of the movie, where she's like, "I'm lonely. Like you left. You were my dad. You left, and you were gone." And Red Guardian like goes into her, and he's like, "You know, when you were a kid, when you were on the soccer team, I believe it was, like you were the goalie. You wanted to be the goalie because you wanted to protect people, and you wanted to be the leader, and you wanted to be almost the center point of the team because you're a natural person." Go ahead.
Little bit like you're on the right track, but she wanted to be the last line of defense.
Is that what it was?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
It
tell you
wasn't that
exactly
she wanted
what
to
it
be
was.
the hero. She wanted to be the last one to protect everyone. She wanted to be the last line of defense.
She wanted her teammates to rely on her. She wanted to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that like her dad reminds her of that and really brings it home for her was, again, like that's pretty high up there, I think, in my favorite moments in probably the MCU. Was that little conversation there.
I don't judge me. I actually wrote down what they said.
Go for it.
She goes, "Daddy, I'm so alone. I don't have anything anymore. All I do is sit at and look at my phone and think of all the bad things I've done. Anna was just a child. She was just a little girl." And then Guardian tells her, "You are a special girl. You were so kind." She wanted to be one of everyone can rely on if they made a mistake. I still see you that way. So basically, she wanted to be that person that if someone made the mistake, she can correct their mistake. Stop judging me, George.
First of all, sir, hold on. Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. As quickly as was said, you were able to write that down with your freaking animal? You're a cyborg.
I was texting it to myself as she was saying it.
That fast, bro?
You test that fast?
I thought you were like, I got the bootleg while I was there. I went back and rewatched it on my phone so I can get the lines.
No, I showed
you
y'all
have
my
to tell
notes.
the guy, yo, can you pause that for a second? I need to get this line real quick.
Like, you are a good girl.
Right, like I'm sure, like I'm thinking he has like just the part where we were talking about, like, you know, she wanted to be the last line of defense. No, my man had the whole monologue that Red Guardian gave her.
He got the script.
Like, bro, did you pull up the script?
Had to. Anyway.
Bro, Twitter fingers, bro. That's what that is.
I spent a lot of time on my phone.
That's old school texting skills.
Bro,
Under
that's
the table.
BlackBerry texting right there. That's like
T9.
That's straight sidekick.
Bro, remember that? That's funny. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just thought that was funny.
Straight John Walker.
But yeah, that was so sad. Like, because she just wants to be. She wants what Red Guardian wants. But not the same. Like, he wants it for the glory. She just wants to be someone you can count on. She still wants to be that little Thunderbolt soccer girl goalie who can fix everyone else's mistakes.
She wants to be her sister.
Yeah.
She wants to be her sister.
And he
Well, I
said
think
That's
that
what
to
she
her.
looked up to.
Yeah, I think the
He
reason
says-
why though is because she saw how happy Natasha was being
Yes.
part of a team of people that were doing good for other people. You know what I mean? And I think even in Black Widow, I think she was even trying to tell her, like, leave this life behind. Like, it's not even worth it.
Mhm.
I mean, so for her to see that, and then, she's starting to get these feelings from doing these things for Val. It's like, I don't feel like I have self-worth. I'm just doing stuff for people. I'm not doing stuff for people for the wrong reasons instead of for the right reasons.
It's just a job.
It's just a job. But as a superhero, they never think of it as a job. Not once. They think of it as
It's
being a
selfless.
service.
They do.
You know what I mean? It's selfless.
It's definitely selfless. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think she's starting to realize that.
she wants to feel fulfilled. She wants to. I'm not getting religious, but she wants repent. She wants to repent for all her sins. Basically, it's the only way I can think of saying it. And she wants forgiveness.
Yep.
And the only way she seems like she can get forgiveness is by doing good deeds to outweigh the bad deeds.
Guess
That would
who else
explain
they
why
used to
her
think that
void-
way?
Oh.
Guess who else used to think that way? Natasha.
Yep.
Natasha
Mhm.
went through, even though Yelena wasn't there for all that. Yelena wasn't there to hear the conversations that her and Barton was having, but that's exactly what she was going through. She was like, "How can I erase all this red?" That came from Natasha's mouth, and that's all marrying right now when it comes to Yelena. And it's like, the only difference is, like, Yelena didn't have a Barton that was there
No.
to listen to her and trying to talk her off the bridge and be there for her and take her in, and this is my family and my family is your family. She didn't have that.
She was all alone.
And when she wanted to have it, when she was ready for it, that's when she disappeared, came back, and Natasha was gone. So she's basically going through all the sins of her sister, but yet she don't have any of the recovery team that her sister had.
Yeah. And then you see, right after that, you see the Void in all black. He looks scary as hell, by the way. With the
like
white
the
eyes.
whites in his eyes. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's just there, just making everybody go into the Void. And you see that continue. And you got Red Guardian trying to save people. Go for it, George.
No, I was gonna say that one scene, man, with he saves the little girl, and then you just 2 seconds later, your heart's broken because she puts in the void,
Right?
and he's just like, "What happened?"
Man.
And that gave me chills, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Because he finally got that hero moment.
Mm-hmm.
He finally got his hero moment, and it was taken away within seconds.
Seconds, dude.
I'm pretty
Like, that
sure I
would've broke me.
audibly said, "No, don't do it." Right as like that scene happens, I'm like, "No, don't do it."
Yeah, I definitely yelled at the screen.
Oh,
And
That was an empty theater.
Yeah, well,
It
it
was
was so
definitely
crowded that
empty.
night that I'm sure everybody screamed out. All 12 of us that were in that.
We did not practice that. But then you got the Void is basically engulfing all of New York City into the Void, into the shadow.
Right? He's like blipping people out, and like they're just turning into like these almost like Nagasaki nuclear explosion marks.
So that's what that's what they wanted it to look like.
Really.
Yeah, they did that on purpose.
shoot.
They wanted it to look like the atomic bomb.
And
like
you just leave this.
shadow.
Yeah, that was real creepy.
But dude, when Yelena decided the only way I can save him is to go into the Void, because she already saw the Void. She knows what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, when she stepped and the Void took her, Red Guardians, as a father, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you would lose your damn mind. Your daughter just vanished, and you presume she's dead, and she's not. She's in the Void, and
oh man, I didn't even think of that.
Living
Larry.
that whole scene again with Anna. Say that again, Larry.
Second daughter.
Yeah, the second daughter he lost.
Second daughter. Yeah.
Facts. Damn, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But that took me back for a second. Like, I had to be like, wait up. I almost smacked myself in the face with the mic again.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
But yeah, she goes into the void and she's reliving it, and then she tries to stop it, and then Anna in the void attacks her when she tries to stop the guy from the red room from killing her. And then she just starts running, and as she's running through the wall, you hear the gunshot again, just replaying, boom, like he killed the girl again.
Mhm.
And then she goes into the next room, and the next room is, I believe, her in a tub, or she's seeing herself drunken in a tub in a drunken stupor in her bathroom. And then she forces herself to drink the liquor out the bottle.
Fighting the alcoholism.
Yep, the depression and everything. She turns around, she sees Bob in the mirror. She shoots at the mirror. No, I'm wrong. That was third. The second one was when she went through it and she landed in the red room.
Yes.
Oh,
She
yeah,
landed in the red
She had to
room.
do the gun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gun
And
test.
she took the gun apart first. And because she took the gun apart first, all the other girls had to get whipped in their hands. So she has that guilt from seeing her friends getting punished because she's better than them. Because that's what it really is. She's better than them. You know, and she doesn't want to get whipped. So she learns how to do it faster. So she's not the one getting hit whipped in the hand. And then from there, she sees Bob in the room in the attic and shoots through the glass. And then she's there with Bob.
And there's Bob convincing himself that being depressed and letting everything take over is just easier. Because it is. And it's a very hard thing to come back from. He's in the room. He's like, it's just better than I'm here. And this hit me on a level I was not expecting it to hit me. I wasn't expecting this movie to kind of like delve into that. But seeing him agree with himself that, you know, this is the safest place to be. And then they happen to look down and they see through the floorboards. I guess Bob's dad attacking his mom. And Bob stands up and then tries to fight back. And his dad says something like, what are you, a big man now? What are you, a big man now? And like strikes him down even harder and then takes it more out on the mom. And the mom's like, I wish you wouldn't have done that, or whatever she says. And you kind of really start to see like why Bob's psyche is so shattered and why he is the way that he is.
He's definitely damaged good, but that's what the void does.
Mm-hmm.
The void traps you in that darkness and keeps you there, because the void is depression.
Mm-hmm.
The void is depression. That's all it is. In reality, in life, real life terms, the void is the depression that you get stuck into, and it's hard to get out of. And it sometimes it's a really struggle and it's a real battle. But you know, they show them coming together because Bob is trying to fight this, and you see the void on the other side, and it takes you right back to the very beginning where Yelena was at the medical facility where the bodies were burnt into the thing. They're right back there. And she's just trying to talk him into it, and he just starts, you know, he comes out and he stops, you know, the rest of the Thunderbolts, and Bob just starts wailing away at him. And they're yelling at him, stop, he's winning, you're letting the darkness win, you're letting the anger win. And you know, it was predictable what was going to happen, you know, that they were going to come together and sing Kumbaya.
Well, I was thinking, so
him.
I was thinking it was a bit cheesy. I was like, really, they're gonna like hug it out, but like the darkness is like legitimately like engulfing him, and he's trying to do what, you know, every hero tries to do. They're trying to, you know, punch the bad guy in its face and get rid of it. And you can't just punch mental illness in the face and get rid of it. You can't just beat your way out of it. You have to sit in it. You have to let it. You have to understand it. And you have to really kind of ruminate and understand why you're feeling these ways. It's not easy at all.
No, it's not, but, and We've both
You have to get your
that.
support systems in check, whether it's the tools that a therapist can teach you, or it's the important people in your life. And luckily, he has those people that can take care of him, and they legitimately pulled him out of letting it engulf him and consume him even more than it had.
I think the best
And
part of that
again,
scene,
I was
though-
like, "Go ahead."
oh no, girl, you're fine.
All right, yeah, I was like, man, they're like, because like she runs over and like hugs him, and I'm like, they're gonna hug it out, and then by the time it like really started wrapping up, I was like, they all have to be his support system and help him out of it.
Yeah, I think that the best part of that scene was each one of the Thunderbolts knew exactly what that was because they probably went through it before. You know what I mean? We remember that scene in Captain, or no, what was it? The Falcon and Winter Soldier or whatever it was. And the part where he sat there and straight up got really rageful and decided to chop that dude's head off with the shield. You know what I mean? He knew what was that. You know what I mean? Yelena probably went through the same thing. So the ghosts, all that stuff. Like, they know what darkness is, and they know, like, hey, listen, we're not that anymore. And we don't want him to sit there and feel that anymore either. We want to change that. So them running up to him and, like, full throttle trying to get out of the braces that they were stuck on to go save him was, like, that was heavy.
Yeah, and he was really wailing away at him.
Yeah.
And you saw, like Mike was saying, the darkness was just engulfing him. But they were able to get him out of there, and he broke out of it. But then he don't remember nothing.
That's the worst part, man. That's so sad. Because he gets back and they get to the real world, and he's like, what happened?
He's just
Well,
Bob again.
he doesn't remember anything immediately, but slowly begins to gain more back over time. They did say that throughout the movie, that, like, he slowly gains it back. But I think the really interesting thing here is if you take this and put it against Avengers, the first Avengers movie, everything is flipped. Yelena is Captain America. She's the center point that brings them all together. And instead of the center point being the leader that steps up and calls the shots, like we get that triumphant scene of Cap standing on the car and calling out, you do this, you do this, you do this, turn around to the cops and say, you need to put a barrier here and do this. And everybody follows it. Nobody's listening, and Yelena has to sacrifice herself. And the way that they win is not by fighting, but by actually surrendering. By finally going, hey, we're not going to win and get out of here by letting you smash his head in. That just turns you into him and traps you further. It's by actually
the hate and everything was going to engulf him. If he would have just kept fighting, he would have been the Void permanently, and that's what the Void wanted, was to take over the Sentry aspect of Bob. But you have that happen, and they're back, and they're trying to realize it, everything, and I think that's the part when they get back and everybody's clapping for them or whatever, and then Bucky.
They get back.
New York City is completely engulfed in blackness.
Yeah.
Which at this time, Kev, have we kind of locked down what the timeline as far as this versus Daredevil?
2027.
Taking place during the Daredevil season. Does anybody know?
I have no idea.
I wonder if
I don't think they clarified that yet.
Yeah. I wonder if this will be talked about in that show at all. Not that Matt will particularly notice it getting dark.
We'll get a giant monologue of Fitz talking about the city going dark and him turning the lights back on.
Yeah.
Probably.
But what happens next? You got Val talking about, I need a helicopter out here now to get me the hell out of here, and Bucky Red Guardian's like, I want to kill her.
Yeah, and she weasels her way out.
Yeah, and he goes, what if we take her in? If she breaks a few bones by accident. And she just tricks him, gets him right over that tarp, and she's like, oh, I've been working on a project for years now. Let me introduce you to the new Avengers. and they're just looking at each other. And Yelena goes up to her and she goes, "We own you now."
That's crazy that she did that because she was like, "We know things, but we're gonna let you go ahead and take this and act like you got to win. But if you try to do anything, guess what? We have blackmail. We have every bit of detail about what you did through Oxcorp, the Century Project, everything, and we'll blow it up out of proportions if need be, you know."
Yeah, so they have her in the pocket. Yeah, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this, because right after that you have them in the tower, and it's, I think,
Well, we got Red Guardian, so like obviously like the team's bankrolled now, and then you got Guardian in the supermarket.
Oh, the Wheaties boxes.
with the box of Wheaties. First, we get the credits rolling too. I don't know. I kind of like yelled it out, but like those credits felt like kind of like AI made. Like there was just something off about them.
The pictures,
like, yeah, they looked weird.
It probably was.
Like I don't know why they just didn't like use the actors and make the photos. They were like this weird kind of drawn AI weirdness, kind of like they did for
Bucky looks super weird.
Yeah, there was something off, but that's when like obviously they got like the B Vengers and like Avengers, on all like the newspaper things. But then they got Yelena with the Rosie the Riveter, you can do it, and they kind of end with them building the iconic like construction worker poster that they're all sitting on, like the iron girder. Which I thought was pretty cool, trying to make them kind of, Americana and get
they did a lot of that.
Yeah, that big like patriotism thing.
All Russian. Like, what's that really saying, guys? What's that really saying? You're trying to make them American, but 3 of your guys are from Russia.
Hey, it's a melting pot.
Only 2.
No, 3.
No, 2.
2.
3.
Well, Bucky
worked for the Russians.
He's American.
He's American from where he's at, but he only became Winter Soldier because of the Russians.
That's true.
So that's where I was going at. And technically, Ghost isn't, no. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go to, but either way.
So that's when we cut to like the supermarket, and we got Red Guardian showing off the big box of Wheaties.
And you like, look familiar? I'm the guy on the box. I'm the guy on the box.
And like making people like super uncomfortable. And like that was like your typical like Marvel post credit scene, but then we get the second one, and that was the banger. That was the first one I feel like really set something up in a while.
They screwed up though on that second one.
They were getting sued.
They screwed up on that second one because they teased it before it even happened. So me and Kev are watching the songs listing come up, and it has the Fantastic Four theme, and me and Kev are like, what the hell? Like, when did the Fantastic Four thing? We think it played somewhere in the movie or something like that. And then the scene pops up, and me and Kev are like, it's the Fantastic Four. It's the freaking Fantastic Four. It has to be.
No.
And that's
congratulations. You and like 4 people read the credits.
Well, we actually look,
that one went too fast for me to catch.
I want that tie jacket with the Avengers.
Yeah,
like the corporate sponsors, jacket.
Yeah, he's like, I got one made for all of us. Maybe we can't get sued because it's Avengers, and that Sam's actually suing them.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
And they have the rights to the
Copyrighted Avengers.
Whoa!
So we know
because these are not the Avengers. They are not. They're literally. I said to George, they are literally the boys. They are literally the company.
They're the B Squad.
They are
the B Squad. Yeah.
They don't. Even Elena says they don't know what's going on because there's a space threat and they have no idea what's going on because they're just there for the for the public. They're not the real Avengers. And Kevin Feige knew that people are gonna say these aren't the real Avengers. That's why the whole credit scene of them making fun of them happened.
That makes sense.
I would have rather had another scene where we actually got like the new Cap looking at the newspaper and he's like, "Can you believe this shit?"
They're setting up the Fantastic Four. They're setting up the Avengers, the West Coast Avengers, because that just proved that Sam's on the West Coast, or he's working with a team that's a part of the Avengers, and then you got the Fantastic Four, and then now you have the Thunderbolts. So you have three teams, and then you have the Daredevil team ups.
Yo, it sounds like either like Sam or Yelena is going to need a really good lawyer. I don't know whose side like Matt's going to fall on, but
Bucky tried talking to him.
All right, tinfoil hat time. I've
Go
been
for it.
thinking about the end credit scene here. We see the Fantastic Four jet. We naturally are assuming the Fantastic Four, which we know are in a separate universe, are making it into the standard MCU timeline.
They're coming to
universe.
616. I think we're in the 616.
They call it something else, but yeah, it's essentially
199999.
Yeah.
Now, what if it's not the Avengers and it's actually Doom making it there?
Oh, what you mean the Fantastic Four on the thing?
And it's Doom on the ship?
What if it's not the Fantastic Four on the ship and it's actually Doom in that timeline making it there?
You're wrong.
I can be totally wrong. It's just a thought, a crazy tinfoil hat thought.
It's definitely the Fantastic Four.
Why the fuck would Von Doom be in a Fantastic Four ship?
Because it's a different universe. He could have stolen it.
But why?
Because he won and wiped out everybody in his own universe.
That doesn't make sense, Frank.
So
I think what it really proves is what we've been talking about for, I guess, when did the Fantastic Four trailer drop? Like 3 months ago, 2 months ago? When we're like, yo, the Fantastic Four is not making, like, that universe is toast. Galactus is munching down on it. And it totally
That's exactly
proves.
what happens.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Galactus destroys their world. They leave to come to the 616. Galactus is going to chase behind them. And that's how they bring the Eternals back into it.
Yeah. How did it feel though, Kev? Like, in all honesty, I know you've been like waiting for this moment for quite a while, but like to actually see legitimate Fantastic Four logo and ship in an official MCU movie.
And their theme song, Mike, remember that?
Yeah, well, I didn't really.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited about it. It hit me pretty good, and I think it's the perfect little tease to set it up. When's that come out? In
July.
A couple months. I'm not good at months. Public school education.
2 months.
2 months.
Superman in June and that in July.
They're
both in July. I can't believe it's coming up that soon.
One's July 11th and one's July 30th or something like that.
25th, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like, I can't believe it's coming up. But we finally have our Fantastic Four in the MCU. We've been dreaming of this moment for quite some time. I think it was a nice little tease to build up to what's going to happen in that movie. And it shows that Galactus is a legitimate threat that isn't going to get beat by a bunch of ants.
Now, would this end credit scene have been better at the end of Fantastic Four? Because now it just showed. I mean, granted, yes, we all knew it was coming, right? We all knew Fantastic Four was going to join the universe, but in that manner, why that scene at the end of this movie? Why didn't we get?
Because it's good.
We already know the ending of the Fantastic Four. The ending of Fantastic Four is them losing and coming into this world to get help from the Avengers and the Thunderbolts and this world's Midas heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going on, and because their world is completely gone, Galactus destroyed their world. So they're coming. The first family is coming to the 616 to seek help to try to warn us about Galactus and Galactus coming to our world to destroy our world. So they have to prepare for that threat.
Is it seeking help? Is it?
What are you saying?
I don't think they're seeking help.
You thinking warning?
I'm just saying they're just trying to get out.
Yeah.
But
I think Reed's whole plan is to get out of that universe. I don't think Galactus could go to universe to universe. Can he?
Yes, he can go within the different multiverses.
I don't know. You know what? It could go either way because I think in the trailer, doesn't Reed say something about poking out in the universe kind of like triggered Galactus or something along
He
those
sent the
lines.
signal.
Yeah.
They sent the signal. The incursion is the signal.
So, yeah.
What
I don't know.
that
Maybe it
incursion
falls through.
actually is, we don't know yet.
But I do like
this
how that
movie
sets up that like
definitely
Galactus is like a legitimate
threat.
That is going
They
to take
definitely
everybody.
They definitely set up Fantastic Four nicely with this movie. They did a good job of giving us a little bit to tie these movies into each other. Now we got to see what the Fantastic Four sets up at the end of that, because they have to set something up big. They have to set up Secret Wars or something towards Spider-Man or Secret Wars.
Doom.
It's got to be Doom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, we know he's coming. Secret Wars.
All right, so we got all of our number rankings.
Overall, what did you guys think about the movie in its entirety?
I enjoyed it. I think it definitely took me by surprise. I think it's a win for Marvel in a lot of different ways. I think they nailed the century really good. They hit on some topics I wasn't expecting them to, really hit on. And it's nice to see Yelena can carry a movie on the big screen.
Yeah.
That says a lot, because they didn't think Black Widow could.
They didn't let her.
She was always that back burner character.
Yeah. But what did you think, George?
It was a great movie. I think it was it was what we needed from what happened with the Captain America movie and how that kind of was just not it. But it's also like it's like in that mediocre phase. Like, yeah, we gave it 8s, right? But we also know what's coming with the Fantastic Four. Like, if this is a step in that right direction, then if this movie was great and it was better than Captain, then Fantastic Four is going to be phenomenal compared to this movie. You know what I mean? And then for them to even do that ending scene, like, that's just building up more hype. We weren't expecting that at all. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting to see that Fantastic Four theme song, the ship, the logo, any of that at the end of this movie. So it was really cool to see that they're really pushing this Fantastic Four narrative to be something big. My thing is, will it be big? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the question on everybody's mind. I think they set it up nicely, but we're definitely going to see in a few months. Frank, what are you thinking, brother?
I think this is. So here's the thing. I don't think this is mediocre at all. I think this is. We all gave it 8s for the most part. All gave it an 8, around an 8, because it's actually a really good movie. Because it's like, I honestly was searching for a reason to bump it up higher, but it's not like an Endgame level movie. You know, we sit there and say, oh well, it's an 8. It's mediocre. Mediocre would be like a 5. Mediocre would be like what we got out of Brave New World. It was a mediocre movie. It could be, you could enjoy it, but this was better than that. Way better than that.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think it's definitely one of those things that's like, this is a sleeper for this year. And I think they thought it was going to flop, because there's definitely moments in it that it's like, all right, is this going to, I could see them thinking, is this going to play? Is it going to work?
Yeah.
Especially because they have, in the ending of all the media, they have the full entire team, and they hid who was going to die first.
That was great.
Like, they hid
did
things
that, by the way.
there.
They kept that tight and under wraps, which usually everything leaks out tomorrow.
Whether they actually did that or they cut her out is a whole nother thing.
What you mean, cut who out? I'm sorry.
They cut Taskmaster out at the end.
I don't know why they cut her out. I don't know why they decided to shoot her like right at the beginning. Kev, you got any ideas?
No, it's because the character is not good, and everyone knows that the character is not good. They fumbled the hell out of that character.
So then why?
They did not do it well. They did not do it. We all knew that they were editing Taskmaster in the elevator scene and in the office scene. We knew they were editing it that character in. So we all knew she was gonna die at some point in this movie.
Yeah. She was definitely not. They definitely dropped the ball on the Taskmaster. Taskmaster in the comic books is a badass character, and
I
they
know,
definitely
it's
dropped
such a
the
shame.
ball. But Kev, what did you think about Thunderbolts in its entirety?
I mean, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like I said, this is the most fun I've had since Guardians 3, and that was 2 years ago it came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as someone who has, mental health issues, it really speak to me a whole lot. Brave New World, walking out of Brave New World, I felt empty. Like it felt like it was just like
Felt like
there.
Elena.
Yeah. And then watching this, I felt fulfilled. Like it felt like like Marvel made a great movie again. Like
Yeah.
the last couple projects, I will say I think Marvel's starting to come back a little bit because we've had Daredevil, uh we had Spider-Man, even though it's not MCU, but we had the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Last year we had
Deadpool, Wolverine.
Deadpool, Wolverine.
Deadpool,
Like
Wolverine. That was just a cash grab.
But it worked.
It was still a good movie though.
It was a good movie. It was, but it was definitely fan service. But I go ahead, Kev. Finish your thoughts.
No, I'm just out of all the movies that happened since Endgame, this is probably in my top 5. I think I think there's only maybe 3 or 4 movies I would watch more than this one. I still think I think No Way Home and Shang-Chi and Guardians 3 were the better 3 movies ahead of Thunderbolts. But still, I mean, I had a great time watching this movie.
Nice. I definitely agree
Well-
with you with Shang-Chi and what was the other one you said?
Shang-Chi, No Way Home, and Guardians 3.
Guardians.
I would say, yeah, I would agree with most of that.
I think superhero cinema is at its best when you get your superheroes and you tell your superhero story, but you have, as Kevin just said, you don't feel empty and you fill it with some kind of meaning and meat. And this had a nice mental health awareness thing in it. Guardians 3 had a nice meaning of really coming to terms with family and it's who you are. No Way Home, Shang-Chi all had a lot of meat on it outside of just being punch bad guy in face, get MacGuffin, save day, big boom thing in the sky. This movie really hit and had meat of something greater than just heroes coming together. And if Disney and Marvel can figure that out and how to carry that through and make something outside of just your regular superhero movies like this, then we're going to be back. Marvel's going to be back.
So I will agree and disagree with you on that point, and I'm not going to be long-winded. I don't think you can do too many movies like this.
Mhm.
I think it's too deep. People don't go to movies to deal with mental illness, to deal with bullshit, because to us, mental illness feels like a bunch of bullshit in our brains. And I say that respectfully because I deal with it. So it's just a lot of clutter in my brain that I just want out.
It's
So
it's
I
definitely
can
hard to eat
focus on
popcorn
stuff,
too.
But like I just think they did an excellent job with this movie overall. I think they delivered. I think they had a great storyline. I don't think we'll see a lot of. I'm hoping that the MCU and the DCU tell comic book stories and not let's try to deliver a message, specifically something that's with the world today. I want to see comic book accuracy. I want to see what I read in the comic books. That's what I want to see. I don't want to deal with the world's issue. We deal with that every day. Every day
True.
we watch news, we get on social media, we deal with the world issues. I don't want to be reminded of that. But I will say for this movie, it was perfect. With the void and everything, it just worked perfectly. But it is a tough subject, and I think it made it a little difficult to have this episode when we're talking about mental illness, because it's not a subject that's easy to talk about, but it's less easier, if that makes sense, for men to talk about it, because it's not something that is welcomed in most men
Very
households.
much so.
You know, thank God that's changing with newer generations. And people are more aware of mental illness and aware of
No
that
shame in
stuff.
my
But
game. I've been in and out of mental health therapy my entire life.
yeah,
It's
and it
you got
happens. You need
Mhm.
sometimes you need help, man. Sometimes you it's good to get an outside perspective.
Definitely. And that's again to roll it back and not to make this super long-winded, but showing that you can't just punch it in the face and you have to have your support system and you have to have the tools to deal with it is crucial, and I really appreciated that. And again, like that scene combined with I honestly thought, I was like, they're gonna effing hug it out. And they really pulled it around. I was like, this Disney BS, and then they pulled it around and it hit me, and I left appreciating Marvel for this kind of cinematic magic trick that they did. And that's where I'm gonna put my pin in it.
Yeah. So, any final words, guys, before we peace out? So, with that being said, guys, I just want to quickly say, and I'll be out. If you or anyone you know is dealing with mental health issues, you are not alone. We are all dealing with it. Trust me, the person next to you is dealing with some type of mental illness, loneliness, depression, abuse, something. So be kind, people. Be kind to each other. Kindness is free and it goes a long way. So, with that being said, guys, stay positive, stay loving each other, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one, guys.
988 suicide prevention awareness. Dial it. Talk to somebody. Please.
It matters. You matter. Have a good one, guys.